right, welcome back to the IMNerd podcast. I'm your host, Frazier. I'm here with my co-host, Kenny. Kenny is ranting before we even get into today's hot topic. He's wearing a t-shirt that says Portugal on it, and it's very clearly the soccer team, the football team if you're, European. But before we got into this call, he was like, I'm wearing a team that just won the championship. And I was like, oh, Portugal won or whatever. And he's like, yeah. And this is the second time they've beaten Spain in history.
No, I said we beat Spain again.
We beat Spain again. And I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah, not in soccer, though, in history. And I was just like, what is wrong with you? Like, what?
Listen, Spain wanted us. Spain, a long time ago.
Spain wanted us. It's crazy.
They wanted that piece of land, and we told them no. We told them no. I said, they can't have us.
What is with really big countries trying to take over smaller ones? What is that about? And then failing at it too, because it's like happening in Russia too, right? Like
it was literally Russia versus Ukraine.
It's also China and everything around them.
China and everything else that's Asian.
Yeah, like China and everything around them.
They just want it all.
So speaking of
go ahead.
Speaking of hostile takeovers.
Yeah. Maybe I'll talk more about my people later. But speaking of hostile takeovers, indeed, I have a couple takes on this.
Yeah,
some I think people agree with. Some I don't think they will.
So there's a lot going on. I was on a date on Saturday. Been dating a new guy, and it's really going well. Like, we really feel each other. We've been vibing, taking each other to new spots. And just
whoa, we really feel each other and we take each other to new spots.
Okay, not like that. Okay, not like that.
All right.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm talking about.
Around the city, right? So there are places I've never been to, there's places I've never been to. And I need you to calm the fuck down right now, or this podcast will not be able to continue as you know it, all right? I need you to calm your fucking mouth right now. We are 2 minutes in, and it is not going according to plan. All right, anyway. So I was out, right? I was picnicking, something I've been enjoying, and especially in the spring and the summer. I love this time. It doesn't get dark until like 9 p.m. It's amazing. Summer hasn't even started yet. It's great. It's a great time of the year. The weather was really nice. Did you have an experience?
Often it'll be like, I'll be at work and I'll realize it's 8 o'clock and like, it's not dark. Like, God damn.
Like, it's really, really awesome. So I was out laying on a picnic blanket, just booed up with like fruit and wine and all these good things and just chilling and relaxing. And next thing you know, so I wasn't using my phone for like most of the time. In fact, I think I didn't check my phone for 5 hours. So from the hours of 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Good man.
From the hours of 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., my phone was just kind of chilling, just off to the side. And then at 10 p.m., now it's officially dark. Like, it's dark, we're about to leave. So I grab my phone, I look at it, and literally as I'm just like checking notifications, I get a message from Sizzle at 10:01. So it's not like I looked at my phone and he had sent this to me hours ago. When I grabbed my phone, I got a new message from him at 10:01, and it was like a picture that just said everything. And I'm just going to read it out loud. So for people who don't know, and I'll be very surprised if you don't, but it said, what are the rules for a Time Wizard tournament? New. Answer. Time Wizard events use the available cards, forbidden and limited list, rules regarding drawing on the first turn, and a dueling field of the selected Time Wizard format. Then it says in bold under that, and this is the line that is the most crippling. Starting at the NAWCQ, which is North American World Championship Qualifier, aka Nationals, current game mechanics and current card text will be used for Time Wizard events. So immediately, the internet was set ablaze in the retro Yu-Gi-Oh community. Everyone and their mother was sending this to me like within the next 10 minutes, asking me like, oh my God, did you see this? And I just stopped responding to everybody because I was like, I'm just going to go live and just make a whole thing about it. I don't want to respond individually and say the same exact shit to each individual person.
I just want to say, in short, what that means in short is summon cat not good.
Yeah, cat is not good, actually. Factually, outside of maybe X-Sabers who get a slight benefit from having 2 X-Saber monsters to summon Fall Troll, which no longer has priority. So what this means is that now Ignition Priority is not a part of this new Edison format that is going to be at Konami events. So you can no longer summon Substitute or Lone Fire Blossom and activate Priority before your opponent can activate something like Book of Moon or Compulse or Torrential. In fact, one of the best plays with frogs is to go, and I talk about this all the time, but like summon Swap Frog, activate effect to bounce Swap Frog with Priority, and then chain Torrential to wipe your opponent's field, and you still get to keep the Swap Frog, which is really, really broken play. But that is not
it's also a really
possible
cool
anymore.
play.
It is
just
cool.
Like cool.
It just looks decent. Like, it looks decent. Yeah. And what I liked about it when I was doing it back in 2023 was that people hadn't seen that before. So when I would play people and I would do it, it would be like this spectacle. Like, there was like, I was like a magician.
It was a form of skill expression.
Yes. And when I would have a crowd of people watching me at like Ultimate Time was in Richmond, which was it was the third ever Ultimate Time Wizard, I believe, in 2023. But I remember having a crowd of people around me, and I was in a Frog mirror match, and my opponent argued me down that I could not do that. Like, he was really mad at me, and he called the judge, and like the judge was like, well, yeah, I don't see why. Like, why can't he do that? He was like, well, when you summon Swap Frog, you have to use the other effect, but he's using the bounce effect, and he was like, well, he could use whatever effect he wants. Like, that's just how the card works. I don't know why do you think he has to send a card from the deck to the graveyard and then chain torrential and lose his Swap Frog? Like, he can absolutely summon it and bounce it. Anyway, the point is priority's going away. So Swap Frog can't do that anymore. Lone Fire can't do the same thing. Substote can't do the same thing. And there's a lot of other cards, like Brionic no longer has priority. Also, Brionic is errata, so all the erratas take place as well, meaning Goyo Guardian is not playable unless you're using X-Sabers. I can't even name enough Earth tuners that are playable in Edison format. Like, only things that come to mind are like X-Saber Arabellum, X-Saber Full Helm Knight, Nettles, which is in Gigavice, but like Nettles in Gigavice, Copy Plant, I think is Earth. And then you just lose me from there. Like, in terms of viable Earth tuners, I don't know what they are. So just assume that Goyo Guardian will not be summoned. Brionic is once per turn, and you can only target your opponent's cards. Future Fusion doesn't send on activation, and so that's a huge change. Brain Control can only take a monster that can be normal summoned or set, meaning you cannot Brain Control Dark Arm, you cannot Brain Control Judgment Dragon, you cannot Brain Control extra deck monsters. So Brain Control is severely nerfed as well. Now, some of this is actually good. Like, yeah, it's not all bad. I want to be clear.
It's toxic.
Yeah, there are cards that I've been complaining about for a very long time. Future Fusion, Brain Control. Trap Dust Shoot's up there as well. Obviously, Trap Dust Shoot doesn't take any hits because it's just the same card. But the point is, some of the changes, like, I would be welcome to, but I think overall it is negative because some more cards become toxic. Mainly Rivalry and Gozen Match are two of the biggest offenders. They don't currently function in real Edison format. They don't function the right way, which is good though. So the way they function in Modern is if I have Rivalry of the Warlords on the field, which says you can only control one type of monster. Meaning if you control a warrior, you cannot also control a dragon, you can also control a spellcaster, you can also control a fish or a sea serpent or whatever. In Edison, you can actually, if you only have one monster, like a Raikou or a Treeborn Frog, you can tribute that monster for a different one, like a Caius, which makes those cards just bad. Because if I can just flip Raikou, pop your monster, and then you go activate Gozen Match, and I go, okay, I'll just tribute my Raikou for Caius and banish your Gozen Match, the card's not playable. No one plays them right now, like literally no one. But if they get these new modern mechanics and rules and erratas or whatever, now Rivalry will make it where if you bring back Treeborn Frog, I'll go chain. When you bring back Treeborn Frog, activate Rivalry. And there's not really much you're going to be able to do in terms of getting that Rivalry off the field. And then the game is just floodgated like Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually does play like this. In fact, 2022 Nationals, which was won by two-time national champion Hansel Aguero, right? He's the only two-time national champion. Yeah. Yep. Big supporter of the podcast too. He played triple Rivalry. So it actually won Nationals 3 years ago. I just want to put into context that like Rivalry has been a problem in Yu-Gi-Oh! Since it got the updated ability to just like lock the game out like that. And some people might like that, but what it really does is it just severely like nerfs the creative decks like Quick Draw and Vayu and Lightsworn, because Lightsworn, they're all different types. Like they're all over the place. Like JD and Lumen is a spellcaster, and Garaf is a beast warrior, and Jane is a warrior, and like now Arcus is a beast warrior. I think Garaf might be a warrior, but Arcus is a beast warrior for some reason. Celestia is a fairy. Like Lightsworn literally can't do anything. Like it's really even decks that are like we call it zombies, right? When people say zombies, you know what they mean. There's probably like 8 zombies in the deck. 2 Goblin Zombies, a Mizuki, a Plague Spreader, some amount of Pyramid Turtles, maybe a Spirit Reaper, and that's usually the package. And we call those decks zombie decks that play all those cards. But the truth is that those decks play more monsters that are not zombies than they do play zombies. And if they get Rivalry, they wouldn't be able to do anything. Like, for example, Krebens is a Psychic, right? Deep Sea Diva is a Sea Serpent. You always play these cards. These are the cards that you play with zombies. Dark Arm is a dragon. And Gores, so you end up, Gores is a fiend. So you end up in these weird situations where like a lot of creativity is stymied because Black Wings is already one of the best decks in Edison, right? It's already in true Edison, Black Wings is already one of the top decks, period. That is not up for debate. Black Wings is just outrageously good, even without any other deck getting nerfed. If you allow Black Wings to all be dark, they're all dark, and they're all Wing Beast. Every single one of them. Like every single one of them, which is super beneficial to just them because they can play both Rivalry and Gozen and they're immune to both Rivalry and Gozen. And all the other decks get fucking destroyed by these floodgates. Like we thought Oppression was kind of annoying, but Oppression has not really stopped any of the special summon decks from thriving, right? We've had Frogs win a bunch of tournaments. We've had Dragon Turbo win multiple tournaments. We've had GBs just won the last Ultimate Time Wizard. Like Oppression is around and it's a card that we all respect, but it's not the end of the game and it's not at 3, which does help. The fact that it's at 2 does help.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Oppression is you can play around it with your monsters.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Rivalry and Gozen kind of need to be played around with, like, back row removal, like actual spell and trap cards. What's annoying is that in Edison format, MST is at 1.
Yes.
So you have, like, MST heavy, and then, like, you're supposed to... Because if I'm correct, I think there's a lot more back row removal in Modern.
There is.
I think maybe MST is at 3.
Twin Twister.
And
MST,
yeah, there's Twin Twister,
Galaxy Cyclone.
And like, yeah, Twin Twisters is specifically a card that works. That's like 4 face-up cards, if I remember right. Is that the one?
It's the discard a card, pop 2. It's double MST basically in one card.
Yeah, there's one I was thinking of that specifically pops face-up cards, and it's also really good. That's usually used for popping continuous cards, but I don't remember.
Yep.
I remember it from when I was played Master Duel, but I don't remember what it was called. But anyway. There's a lot more back row removal in those formats, so they can deal with those cards easier. Whereas in Edison, you just have like MST and heavy. Otherwise, it's like triple Dust Tornado and like Raigeki Break and like having to use those cards on specifically Rivalry, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah. So this is a big problem. And there's other things too that just make it kind of awkward. But Black Wings gets buffed like no other. Like Hero Beat is really powerful. Gadgets is really powerful. These are decks that are just virtually immune to like the floodgates, and they get to play the floodgates. And I hate floodgate Yu-Gi-Oh personally. Like I do not care for literally flipping a trap, and it's a free trap, and it can be used after a field has been established. This is what makes Rivalry and Gozen so much more powerful than Oppression. Oppression is a card that if you have it after the fact, doesn't do anything. Like if I summoned a JD and you have Oppression afterwards, well, guess what? The JD's already established. Or I can actually attack you so much that your life points are low enough where now I can special summon. And that happens in enough games where it matters. Like it happens in enough games that you get beat down with your Oppression face up. Like Glad Beasts are just like, fuck it. Laquari, Darius, attack, 35. That's a lot. You might not be able to pay for Oppression. If that attacks you twice, like you can't pay for Oppression anymore. So stuff like that used to be a game plan, but with Rivalry, it's a free card. And let's say they have like Secutor, and Secutor has summon 2 guys. Rivalry is a free card that you now have to strip those down to just 1. Like I can draw it after the fact. I can set it. I can say go, draw phase, activate. And now you are stuck with one type of guy. The Glad Beasts are all over the place. Like they're fucking, you get it. Like they're all over the place.
Yeah, they do all kinds of shit.
They're reptiles, they're beast warriors, they're, whatever. Like they're all over the place in terms of typing. I think Marmillo's a fish. So that's like one of the things that is really obnoxious. The ruling stuff, the way like cards like Raikou work, which I guess is also part of an errata, like Necroval. And Raikou is insane, actually, in the new Edison. It's like, it doesn't target, so it's like Trishula. This is crazy to say, but it really is, though. You flip it, and if your opponent has 2 back row, right? Say one is Torrential, one's Deep Prison. Well, if they want to, like, Torrential, then they're going to lose the Deep Prison as well, because you have to chain Torrential to the activation, and they just get to pop the other card.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, like, I don't know why Raikou doesn't target, but here's the other crazy part. Raikou, for whatever reason, apparently doesn't choose that he's going to destroy until Resolution in Modern, which means that Stardust cannot negate it. So Stardust is one of the best cards against Raikou and Edison. It's actually one of the quintessential things about Edison, like making a Stardust to deal with Raikous, because Raikou is so prevalent, and Stardust is so prevalent. These are like cornerstones of the format. This is what you think about when you think about Edison. You think about things like Raikou, Hamster, Caius, and you think about things like Stardust, right? Well, Stardust cannot negate Raikou because it doesn't know at activation that it's going to destroy anything. That doesn't happen until Resolution. And just like with Snipe Hunter doesn't know if it's going to destroy anything either when you activate it. So Stardust can never negate Snipe Hunter, and Raikou is on that same level now where it's like, oh, it doesn't know. Now Raikou pops Fortress, and Fortress doesn't activate because it doesn't target. Fortress only cares about monsters that target it, like Caius and Ryzen and stuff like that, but Raikou doesn't target. So now Fortress gets popped for free. Titanial, she stops anything that targets. Raikou doesn't target. So now all of a sudden, Titanial and the Titanial decks, like Amaryllis, which is really Titanial Turbo, Raikou just destroys that deck now.
Big Raikou, let's go.
Raikou's crazy. Like Raikou can be flipped on a Titanial, pop it, and attack over the defense mode Amaryllis. That can actually happen, which is so insane. Like that is that is
He's the
so
guy.
that is so insane. So Raikou is like absurdly broken, but the slight nerf that Raikou got was that it doesn't make things miss timing anymore, like Dupe Frog and Dimensional Alchemist, because the effects to destroy and to mill happen simultaneously now. So before,
I mean,
it
the
used to
other
be separate.
nerf to Raikou is the card we already talked about. Those 2 trap cards.
Oh yeah, Rivalry goes in. Yeah,
Yeah.
like because what do you do with a Raikou after you flip it? You usually tribute it for something else, or like convert it in some way. You summon Gale, you make a Catastor or Android, or you summon Plague Spreader, you make an Armory Arm. Like you usually don't leave the Raikou on the field if you can. So yeah, that's like a very interesting thing. And me and Sizzle, we did like a whole tier list, and it was, you know, we were live streaming. I think there was like 416 people, and the peak concurrent viewers, according to YouTube, it was 416 people watching yesterday when we went live, and that was really fun. We made like a quick little tier list, and not, you know, we're not trying to take that tier list super serious or anything like that. I haven't played that format.
I mean, it's a day 0 tier list.
Yes, it literally is a day 0 tier list, but we try to put things in a place that makes sense in our heads, just because we have played so much Edison. We do know how the game works, at least. Some things are unclear about certain rulings on cards, but either way, like, this is a massive change to the format, so much so that it is literally a different format. And I think that this is the problem that I and a lot of people have, is I'm not somebody who's just mad just to be mad, or mad at, like, because it's a bandwagon and we're all just piling on Konami for making any kind of change. I usually welcome change because I think that after a while things get stale and adaptability. But Edison was actually still in a phase of changing. Like we are currently experiencing new decks still. We just got this new hero quick draw deck that looks really, really fun. Like this hero Machina quick draw deck that I streamed the whole tournament, where it got first place like on Friday night, I think it was. That deck is newer. And then you have Gigavice that recently came out this year and got its first top in Orlando. You have that Volcanic Garden deck that we've been playing on the channel. It's like there's a bunch of newer decks being discovered in Edison format. And so I would say that, one, the format wasn't solved and it wasn't even stale. We have different decks winning tournaments still. Like, that's still a thing. I like change. Do not get me wrong. But it is so many changes that it is just a different thing altogether. Like, it's like saying you can just play, I don't know. It's like why don't you play Tengu format, or why don't you play Hat format? Like, well, they're just different formats. This Edison with these rules would just be a different format, like factually.
Joe tried to warn us.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe
it's so crazy.
He knew something we didn't.
You know, I texted him yesterday and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he was like, "I had nothing to do with this." Immediately, like that was. He didn't even say hello. His immediate response was,
"I had nothing to do."
I swear to God, like I have it right here. His immediate response was, "I had nothing to do with this." That was his first message
awesome.
back.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, I didn't say you did. I didn't accuse you of anything. I just said hello. All I said was hello. And I told him, I said, I would like to have you back on the podcast to discuss this, because we did literally talk about this last year on the IMNerd podcast, and it came to fruition. Here we are. And I never had heard that idea before he got on the podcast last year. So,
yep. I have a couple things to say about it. The first thing I want to say is to address the toxic people. I've seen a lot of people praising that Edison's dead. Yes, Edison's dead. Fuck Edison. I'm so happy you guys are getting fucked. Fuck you, Edison. Haha, you guys suck. And so my first point I want to make is to address
those people are so fucking gross.
And say that, A, you're cringe.
Yes.
I don't, like, if you don't like Edison, it's like, me and Frazier talk about this a lot, but I'll never understand not liking something and following.
Yes.
Like, I'll just never understand not liking something and being like, yes, like, you suck, like, whatever. I don't know. It's just stupid. Like, when a new episode of Last of Us comes out, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be able to complain about it because I wouldn't have watched it.
Same.
I don't understand. So anyway, that's already cringe. But the other thing is, Konami didn't make Edison format. So them changing the rules doesn't kill Edison format.
Right.
Just so we're clear.
I'm so glad
Edison
you said
format,
that, Kenny.
Yeah, it existed. The reason why Konami has tournaments for it is because it existed before Konami. Konami had nothing to do with Edison format's popularity. It is nice to have their support, but just like how Melee doesn't need Nintendo, Edison format does not.
Yeah, that's so real, actually. Because like people are definitely overreacting and saying that the format is dead, or saying, "Oh, now you have to play Tengu or Hat or whatever." And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I was playing Edison before Ultimate Time was existed. What do you mean? Like, this is just for Konami events. It's not for everybody. Like, I don't know why people assume. Format Library released a statement yesterday, and I'm going to actually read this out loud. And I have a lot to say as well. But I'm glad that you were just very level-headed in that, because yes, Kenny's right. Like, Konami didn't make Edison. Like, the people made Edison. Where's this announcement?
Yep.
Okay, here it goes. It's from Jazz, the owner of Format Library. It says, everyone, for those who haven't seen it yet, Konami announced a policy change on their Time Wizard tournaments, essentially stating that current rulings and card text will be used at their tournaments. This will never be the case on Format Library and our associated Retrobot communities. With our incredible judge volunteers, we have the human resources and capacity to get these things right, so we will continue to do so. We believe in making these formats the most authentic experience possible, and all our rules and policies will continue to reflect that belief. And this post went crazy with a bunch of different reacts to it on Discord. But Jazz, who is the owner of Format Library is pretty much the biggest hub of online tournaments for retro Yu-Gi-Oh! That there is in the world. He's running GOAT tournaments, Edison tournaments, Tengu, Hat, you name it. Shit that I never heard of, like Critter format and like all time. Yeah, like
what the fuck?
I mean, when I tell you that there are like 50 different formats on Format Library, it is a robust website. We use it all the time on the channel to get deck lists and stuff like that, to get content.
Yep. It's a great website.
It's a great resource for the community. It existed really before Time Wizard, like Ultimate Time Wizard existed.
Oh, way before.
And it will exist after. And like he said, we will never make these changes to the beloved Edison format. So like, I'm just going back to what Kenny said. Edison existed before Konami like made this announcement and before they even started running their own tournaments for it. It was already a thing, and it will continue to be a thing without their new rules. There are people who will play Edison 2 or Edison. I think someone called it Edison. Like isn't, like the word isn't as
that's crazy.
EDI and an S.
Y'all trying too hard.
Yeah, people have been trying to come up with a name for it. Edda cringe, like just so many different names. But the point is, people don't really seemingly want to play this format. There will be people who will, of course, but the majority of people who enjoy Edison and have been playing it the way it was intended just are going to ignore this and just move on with their lives. Like,
yeah. So if you're like praying on the downfall, you're going to be praying for a long time. It's not going to go anywhere. Like it's unfortunate. So there's a couple things, and there's a couple points where I want to play devil's advocate. But one thing I'll say is that like I don't think this change in a vacuum is all bad if the way it was implemented was, hey guys, we're going to try this. We don't know if everybody's going to like it. We don't know if it works. We don't know if it's good. We're going to try this, see how people like it. You know what I mean? But like, that's not really Konami's way. They don't do things that way anyway.
Yeah.
But if they did it that way, like we're going to run a tournament with these rules, that doesn't mean we're going to run all of them these rules. That could have been cool to see. Kind of like how the IMNerd tournaments do random stuff.
Yep.
That's not what they did. On one end, you could hope that there's enough backlash. Maybe like something that a lot of people say that I feel like not a lot of people put in practice is vote with your wallet. If you truly don't like these changes, or even if you don't hate the changes, but you think they're overall worse, then vote with your wallet. Don't enter the new Edison tournaments at Konami, and also give feedback, because if you hurt their wallet and you hurt their bottom line, and you're given feedback, hey, the reason why your bottom line is being hurt is because of this, I won't say they will change it, because I know Konami can be stubborn, but you raise the likelihood of them changing it.
Yeah, I think voting with your wallet is valid. It is one of the most effective ways to cause change. Target is experiencing that right now. They've been being tanked in sales and everything, foot traffic, because people are boycotting them, and they've changed their CEO. They're doing all these different things to try to like fix it. But the end of the story is they realized, oh God, we're bleeding money. We're losing money because people are unhappy with us. And that is the number one way to get their attention. Nothing else gets people's attention more than playing with their bottom line. So you're right.
Think about Frazier. I think you brought I know you brought it up because I didn't know about it. A year ago or so, where I think it was Wendy's or some fast food chain.
Oh my God.
That they just like would update their prices during rush hour.
Bro,
yeah,
like
surge
Uber
pricing. And then like people voted with their wallet. And they were like, we actually aren't doing this.
Yes, within a week. So Wendy's, I forgot about this, but you're right. Last year, Wendy's made an announcement that they were going to do surge pricing, which means that if you go to Wendy's and you try to buy a burger, the burger usually costs $3.50. Well, if you go there at 12 o'clock, which is like usually rush hour for lunchtime, right? Like most people eat their lunch at 12.
Yeah.
If you go there at 12 when the demand is really high, well, that burger will cost you $4.50 now. They were trying to implement some of the most capitalist, ridiculous shit, like end game capitalism to the max is what they were trying to do. And the internet dragged them so bad. People were like, I will never eat Wendy's again. I don't give a fuck if like, I don't give a fuck if I never go there on peak hours where I have to pay extra. I'm off a principle. I will never buy Wendy's again. Like, fuck y'all. Y'all food's not even that good to be doing all this. Like, this is going to encourage other fast food chains to try to do the same thing, and other restaurants to try to do the same thing, like charging people based on, oh, it's this time, or, oh, we're like understaffed, so now your food costs double price. Like, I'll open up Uber, and Uber will be like 2 times the price because it'll say fares are higher due to increased demand. And it'll be 2 times the price. And I'll just close the app. Because like,
yeah, like, okay.
Like, I will just wait. Like, I'm not paying fucking like, you're telling me up front, which I appreciate the transparency. You tell me up front that you're going to fuck me is crazy. Like, that is crazy.
I just close the app. And then I look at Lyft. And then Lyft is usually worse. So I close that app too.
Yeah. But like, to the point, voting with your wallet is a real thing. You don't have to spend your money with them if you don't want to, and only Konami tournaments are going to have this new change or whatever. Like, I don't know how this is going to work with OTS stores. I assume because it's a policy that OTS stores will have to do the same thing though, unfortunately. So like, your local may be forced into like following these rules, but I know people are going to do what they want because there's a bunch of OTSs out there that just do what they want anyway. Like,
yeah, also, like, I don't really know, like, unless there's a Konami cop in there, right? Like, I don't really, it's not like they could know that what rules you're using. I don't know. Even gentlemen's agreements that people make, like, oh, we're not going to play Dust Shoot or whatever, or we're, people do all kinds of weird stuff that they want to do, and no one really knows about it or cares enough about it to like report it all the way up to Konami. Not to say that kind of thing will happen, because there are malicious people who go to locals and like, let's say they get mad at the local for something that has nothing to do with Edison, nothing to do with the tournament. They're like, well, I know you guys run tournaments with Edison's old rulings, so I'm going to tell y'all now because y'all do that, like stuff like that. Because that actually happened. That happened to one of the OTSs that I frequented. I could see some of those cringe people doing, the ones that are like, yay, Edison's dead. I could see them being like, oh, guys, they're not using the real rules, and they go tell on them.
Those people, so those people go to hell. Like, just
they're so corny.
Like, straight up go to hell. I don't know, like you said, I don't get why, if you hate something, would you ever put so much energy into following it, into watching content for it, into engaging with it? That just doesn't make sense.
Worse? The people in question are all over 30 years old. Yeah, listen, I was young on the internet. When I was 19, I hated on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I would go in comment wars. I would go be in flame wars because I had time to do it because I was a kid. But when you're 30 years old and you're following things that you hate to hate on it, I don't understand how you haven't gained the wisdom and experience in life to know that ain't worth your time. I don't get it.
Yeah. Like, I think about how little time I have in the day now. I want to do so many different things with my life at this point. And the only unfortunate part is that there's only 24 hours in a day, and then it resets.
Mm-hmm.
Spending my time literally I'm trying to think of something that I don't like, because I want to say, like, imagine me going, like, I don't like Magic the Gathering, but never once have I found a Magic the Gathering content creator. I'm sure they exist. The crazy part is, I don't know a single one. Do you know why?
Dude, yeah, what's cool, though, that's just as a side note, that's what's so cool about YouTube, is that there is there's probably 100 Magic the Gathering creators.
Oh,
with like
thousands, probably.
Thousands,
the same way there are
YouTubers. Subscribers. Yeah, but like, we don't know any of them. Not for any malicious. It's just we don't follow them because we don't follow Magic.
I don't go into their comment section and say, like, your game is fucking trash. Your game is dead. Wizards of the Coast boned you guys. Like, now you have to switch to Lorcana, play Yugioh instead. I don't do that because I don't like Magic. Why would I spend my very limited time, going into Magic the Gathering comment sections and just like being vile? It's sickness. It's a mental illness, actually. Like, you are unwell and you need help. Like, actually, like, even if you're listening to this and you hate Edison, you have issues. Like, you are the problem. Like, something is mentally wrong with you. You are unwell. You need to seek help, seek therapy. Because the other thing is that you hating on Edison doesn't do anything. Like, you haven't stopped anyone from playing it. You won't stop it. You won't stop it from being played. Like I said, Edison existed before Konami was even a part of the community. So, like, it's a grassroots thing. Like, when I started playing in 2022, Konami wasn't even a part of the picture. When they came into the picture in 2023, we were excited, but it wasn't like, oh, now they have the reins to just control how we play it. Like, no, they actually adopted up what we were doing.
Yeah, they literally can't do anything. Like, all they did is change their tournaments, and like I said, it's probably going to drop the number of entrants.
Oh, it will for sure. I think for sure that will drop.
I think that to actually, I don't even know if devil's advocate's the right word, But there's a couple weird things I kind of wanted to say just for fun.
Yeah, well, I'm willing to discuss like different points. I do want to say this though. So hold that thought, because I wanted to read this and I want to forget because I have my phone in my hand right now.
Shit.
This is Konami's announcement from the end of 2022 going into 2023 regarding the start of Time Wizard formats.
Okay, yeah, we're going back.
So
this is, I love when this happens. This is when someone talks some shit and a couple years later they contradict themselves, and then somebody else goes, hold up, that's not what you said. This you? Here are the receipts. So this is from Konami. This says Time Wizard is an alternate format for local tournaments that is offered by official tournament stores, aka OTS, that is designed to encourage duelists to enjoy the full history of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. The format is primarily intended to be fun and casual rather than being competitive, allowing duelists different ways to enjoy participating in Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG tournaments. Time Wizard tournaments require the OTS to select a period in time to host the event. The forbidden and limited list, available card pool, and game rules and mechanics are then made to match that selected period. Again, let me read that last sentence. The forbidden and limited list, available card pool, and game rules and mechanics are then made to match that selected period. So again, the way they real quick, I just want to say one of those things we talked about a million times. They've never implemented they just do Edison. Like they never went through experiencing the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! By the way, like that's another thing that like I'd like to. I mean, we've addressed it before. We've addressed it multiple times. They don't do the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like they just do Edison.
You know, it really is just Edison though. Like not even jokingly. Like it's been Edison for 2023, 2024, 2025. So that, you know, I just read that official statement from them from years ago, and they said, you know, this is what it is, and now they're rug pulling us. Like they're literally pulling the rug. Like this is an actual pulling the rug. They introduced it as something. They got a bunch of people even more excited than they already were, because people were already excited about Edison. People were already excited about Retro Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is why they jumped in the first place. They saw that Retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Was growing so much. They were like, wait a second, people actually care about this? Okay, sure. We will actually help you guys with this and make it even bigger. Because I do think that Konami stepping in made it even bigger. And that's what a billion-dollar corporation can do. They can amplify anything. That's, you know, they have a platform that is huge. Konami has a huge platform. So they amplified it. They made it bigger. And that's great. It's great for everybody. Everybody eats off of that. The community eats, the content creators eat, Konami eats, the stores eat, because now they have people. I was going to locals. I actually went to locals last week with Gary to play Edison, because I was like, I haven't played in months. I went to Japan. I missed YCS Providence. So yeah, I hadn't played since YCS Houston, which was at the beginning of April. And I was low-key kind of fiending to play Yu-Gi-Oh! What's funny is that when I went to locals last Thursday with Gary, I pulled my deck out, and literally it wasn't even decided from my last game, which was round 8 of YCS Houston. Like my side deck was still in.
Funny.
Yeah, I still had my side deck in. That's how I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2 actual months, because that was like the beginning of June and Houston was at the beginning of April. So 2 full months I hadn't played Yu-Gi-Oh! At all in terms of in real life Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously I've been recording constantly for the channel, but yeah, paper Yu-Gi-Oh! I hadn't played. And I just wanted to play some Edison, because every once in a while I get that itch, just like, let me just go play. It's going to be unfortunate because that store is probably an OTS store. I think they are, because they have the packs. They have those like turbo packs or whatever. But yeah, or OTS packs they're called. They have those OTS packs, which means they are OTS store, and they will probably have to follow protocol, which means I will not be playing at locals anymore. And that also sucks, because there are other people who are like, well, I'm not playing at locals anymore either, which is going to hurt OTS stores. Like this is going to hurt the community. Like it's actually so I feel bad. I feel bad for the in real life community that actually has, like, there aren't, from what I understand, there aren't that many that are pretty big. I remember one time Philly had a big community, but now like nobody really plays that much in Philly like that. But nonetheless, this will just like hurt those communities. I do not see newer players coming in to play the new version of Edison. I definitely don't think that's happening. They can't even get people to play fucking modern. New people. Like the new modern players are tanking as well. It's that's their number one crisis that's happening, is that it's really hard to get a new kid into Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now.
It is interesting. I wonder what the motivation for doing this is, because maybe the motivation for this is to like get modern players. Like I don't really understand how this benefits them, other than a point that once again, this is not Joe Girlando's fault. Do not blame him. But one of the points he made was that doing something like this would make it easier for the judges.
Yep.
Because it would make ruling disputes easier, because if everything followed the current, because right now judges have to essentially learn 2 completely different rule sets for cards.
That is true.
So other than make it easier for judges, I don't really understand who this change was for, because it's not something that any of the players are really asking for, and obviously there's huge negative effects. So
I think so. I said this on the live stream yesterday. I think the judging thing is such a small portion of the reason why they did what they did. I think that they were absolutely fine staffing and having judges for Ultimate Time Wizard. They've been doing it for over 2 years and it's been running fine successfully.
Mm-hmm.
The judging thing definitely is a factor, but I think that it is a small factor. I think the biggest factor is just money. And what I mean by that is I think that there is a goal to implement retro Yu-Gi-Oh into Master Duel. I think that,
that makes sense.
They actually have run an Edison tournament before on Master Duel, but it was the OCG version of Edison, I heard. It wasn't our Edison. It wasn't April 2010 TCG. Yeah. It was like an OCG, but it wasn't Edison. It was blatantly like an Edison tournament. It was a retro Yu-Gi-Oh tournament ran on Master Duel. I didn't play because I never played Master Duel before, but if they've already have a precedent of doing old formats in Master Duel, this would make it possible, because then you wouldn't have to code things like Rivalry and Goes and work this way in Edison, but they don't work this way.
Because they work completely differently.
Right. The code for Rivalry and Goes in is just going to be consistent across the board. So when you flip it, you don't have to wonder why he can tribute Caius when I'm playing in this version, but when I go to play Master Duel Current or whatever they're going to call it, advanced format, I flip Rivalry and he can't do anything. It's like, this doesn't, people will be confused and all that stuff. They'll have a bad experience. And so,
yeah, I think that's a very good point. I wonder if it would actually translate the money, because Edison's already a niche format, and then making it a niche format on Master Duel, which is niche, and then making it a niche version of a niche format.
Okay, hold on. Let me slow you down right quick. Master Duel is their biggest money-making asset right now. It is.
No, I know that.
It is.
I know that.
Absolutely disgusting. The hundreds of millions of dollars that they're actually making on Master Duel and on the fucking mobile game as well. And I'm saying that to say, adding more to it could not possibly hurt the bottom line.
Oh yeah.
That's just not how math works. Like, from a business standpoint, adding in a section for other people to play who do not play it, like myself, because you know what would happen? If they added Master Duel, like Edison, into Master Duel, then I would just be doing content on Master Duel for the channel. Like, that is, and then what that does, that influences the entire Edison community to also start playing Master Duel. They'd have their own official ladder. They'd have their own official tournaments. Those tournaments can then qualify you for things at YCSs. And this becomes like a whole thing that, again, grows the community. So it couldn't possibly be
I'm not saying it would
anything
hurt
but
Master
positive.
Duel. I'm not saying it would hurt Master Duel, because obviously it would only be beneficial to Master Duel. What I was saying is that I wonder if adding a niche version of a niche format would generate enough revenue to validate the potential revenue lost from like the other thing. The other I wanted to ask, because what you just said I thought was interesting. Are you saying you'd play the new Edison version on Master Duel? Like, if it followed the new rules?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Specifically for content. It's the same way you were playing Pokemon TCG Pocket, basically for like fun and content. I think it would be really fun, because I would compartmentalize it as a different thing. And there would be an audience for it. Like, despite how people feel with this knee-jerk reaction of just being negative about this new version of Edison, there is going to be a community of people who will play that. I don't know who has to like clean everyone's ears out and make sure that they hear that again. There are going to be thousands of people who play that. Like, actually, it's just going to be a thing. You know how I know this is true? Because there are people playing Master Duel. Master Duel is not even a real fucking format, bro. Master Duel is not actually Master Duel is not current Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, it's not.
Yeah, well, it's not any Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's not any, like, Master Duel.
It's not. It's just Master Duel Yu-Gi-Oh.
Master Duel is its own thing, and it is their biggest money-making vehicle. It is a digital asset. They are not even printing real cards. They are fucking digital cards that people are spending they're swiping credit cards to get digital cards.
Master Duel is the best argument. That is true.
That's
Master
the only
Duel
thing.
Is the best argument.
Just for money's sake, if we're being like completely business oriented, and I always do this, I've done this so many times on the podcast, so I just take now I'm being devil's advocate basically, but I take the side of the devil, and I'm like, if you're just being capitalist about it, you just make because here's the other thing, because I know you probably don't know this because you're not as involved with like Yu-Gi-Oh business stuff, but Ultimate Time Wizards and YCSs and all of those things don't actually make Konami money. They are just advertisements for the game, and that's how they perceive it. They don't like profit. They're not pocketing like hundreds of thousands of dollars from running a YCS. YCSs are so fucking expensive. To book a convention center, the sizes that they have for 3,000 people, bro, you already know.
Tens of thousands.
Bro, do you know how much it costs to get internet in the PA Convention Center? Mr. Coyle told me to get Wi-Fi in the Pennsylvania Convention Center is literally thousands of dollars.
It's crazy.
To add Wi-Fi to the room that you're in is thousands of dollars. Though to rent a room for the Philly regional is like $20K.
Yeah, I think
that's a one-day event, by the way.
I wasn't thinking along the lines of Master Duel, but I think honestly that's like the best point is that Master Duel will just make more money and makes more money than
people will play
real life shit.
It's like, I won't even say it's sad to say because I want people to enjoy what they enjoy. And there are people who will start playing it, and at first they might even hate it at first going into it. Then they might play it and be like, "Huh, I want a game." And then
Master Duel is fun. Just as somebody who played it, Master Duel is fun. The only reason why I didn't keep up with it, and it's the same reason why I didn't keep up with making Pokemon videos, is because it costs money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not spending money on digital cards.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But for the purpose of content, oh, absolutely. For the purpose of content, it would be so cool to have a simulator that now, Kenny, when we record, we don't have to wait for our opponent to come back from being AFK. We also don't really need to know rulings.
Yeah, because shit just works. Okay, on that note, right? And kind of going along with the Master Duel thing, because one of the things I want to play devil's advocate to is like some of the reasons why this could be good, and I've also already created arguments against myself because that's what I do. I make arguments and then
we're taking all different approaches because there are people out there who will only see it one way. We're jumping around, offering different angles for this.
Yeah. So one of the arguments is that, first of all, a lot of people had a visceral reaction. And I think that it's understandable and that like they're just changing it without really talking to the community. But there are potentialities that it could be a good change, and that like a lot of the changes to these cards and them being like essentially rebalanced in the way they're re-ruled could add new life into Edison. Not that, like you said, it was already having a lot of innovation, but it could have new life, let new things thrive. Potentially, like you said, like gadgets could be a lot better, or Hero Beat could be a lot better.
Right.
And then there's a lot of new avenues to see. Since it's essentially a format no one has ever played, Edison with new rules, no one's ever played that format. There's a whole...
IMNerd held a tournament last year. Literally like this.
Yeah, but that was one tournament, and then I know a lot of people play it like the weeks leading up to that tournament.
Yeah, but to your point, I'm just being, an asshole.
It hasn't been explored outside of that.
Correct.
Right?
Literally, that one tournament might be the only history of advanced Edison there's ever been.
Yeah, so they're going to blame us, but but that's fine. We're used to being villains.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of really cool things like seeing cards like Brain Control and Future Fusion being less toxic, and seeing the way the decks can adapt and moving forward. The other thing is that like I understand the point of like that's not Edison format, but in kind of a funny way, the Edison format that we play is an Edison format. Like it is technically, it follows all the rules, but like that's not how anybody played Edison format. Which is a funny way to look at it, because I know
I've been seeing a few people say that type of thing as well, and my reaction to that is kind of the same as like, yes, it is absolutely not exactly the same as the one tournament that was Edison format, because we've been playing it for 15 years basically, or it's been being played for 15 years. So it's going through a lot of changes, but that doesn't mean that like it's literally a different thing. Like it has all the essence. It is still Edison, like, but one of the points that somebody brought up was, well, you guys all put Dark End Dragons in your extra deck. How many of you have a Dark End Dragon in 2010? And that's a valid thing. Because I get Dark End, when we record, we get Dark End, we Dark End people.
Yeah, Dark End is crazy.
Granted, I actually had a Dark End, but that's not the point. Most people just didn't have a $1,200 Dark End Dragon to put in their Value Turbo deck, which, like, we're already not playing Edison, a one-to-one Edison, but I think the point of just being close to the essence of something as opposed to just going so far away from it, because once you do this, these changes are so far from the shallow, it's a completely different thing. Yugioh.
Yeah, I fully agree. That's just one of my devil's advocate points. Yeah. One thing I want to say is just to shout out,
Edison is just not the same as it was in 2010. Like we're frog OTKing and gigavicing people and shit like that. Like
so I do think it is a valid point. It's a valid thing to think about. But I also think, to jump around back to the other side, for example, what Format Library does is very commendable in that they are strictly, it's in the name of the website, they're strictly trying to cater to playing a library of formats and how they are remembered. And so it's completely fair that a place like Format Library, even if Edison format as a whole adopted Konami's point of view, it is completely fair for format library to not do that, because format library is a library of the formats as they're seen historically in their rules.
Yeah.
But another way to look at it is like, in terms of them updating it, is that like it's possible that like the way some of these cards, not for the ones that are errated, but the way some of the cards that aren't necessarily errated but being ruled differently, you could argue that like at that time people didn't really know what they were talking about, or like they weren't ruled correctly, or Konami didn't even rule them correctly, or it was Upper Deck's fault that they were ruled this way, or whoever wants to make whatever argument, and that the updated rulings are more true to what they want Yu-Gi-Oh to be, or what the rulings are supposed to be, or makes them more fair or less fair. I don't know, but it's just like different ways to look at it. My argument against that, though, is that I do think a lot of the ruling changes, and especially the erratas, were updated to nerf cards due to their interactions with newer cards.
Oh yes.
And so like, for example, Rescue Cat was always really good, but it was at 1, which, so as everybody knows, Rescue Cat's not a great card in Edison format. It's a fun card, but it's not like a top tier card because it's at 1. If it was at 3, Rescue Cat would probably be broken.
Yeah, and it's only played in decks that are not that good. Like, to be honest, the best deck that it's in is GBs now, and then GBs just recently became really, really good because the format has changed to more combo-oriented stuff, so GBs got better. Hero B has gone down, Black Wings is even lower in popularity than it used to be, so GBs is an overall better deck because it has better matchups, and then Cat becomes better as a result of that. But Cat, if you looked at 2023, 2024, Cat was nowhere to be found. The card was, like, honestly pretty shite, and it is still not even that great. Like, the best thing it can do is like, oh, he got a free GB tag out, or like Secutor or whatever. But it's not like an end-all be-all. Like, it's not the end-all be-all.
Yeah, so like cards like Rescue Cat, they were nerfed in terms of their text to accommodate newer cards, and that's just kind of not fair, because now Rescue Cat's at 3, I assume, in Modern.
Yeah, can I say this? Because I know what you're getting at. Rescue Cat, I saw a video that Silverman showed me 10 years ago. I kid you not. I kid you not. Silverman showed me this 10 years ago. He just put his phone in front of me and was like, click play. I clicked play. The guy started off with 1 card in his hand. It was on one of those dueling simulators that's automated. The 1 card in his hand was Rescue Cat. Do you know he did 8,000 to his opponent without his opponent taking a turn? With Rescue Cat, this was 10 years ago, I swear to God. He went 7 Rescue Cat, tribute it, get 2 things, and then he overlaid for something, and then things just started happening. And it just kept getting more and more ridiculous. Like, there are these cards that came out that are beast and they're summonable by Rescue Cat, and they say like when this card is sent to the graveyard, not when it's destroyed. It just says sent to the graveyard. So you can overlay, you can detach. This thing that you detach summons something, but then the thing that you also detach summons something from the deck as well. So now you are getting 2 guys. So your Rescue Cat becomes 2 guys that overlay that become 3 guys, and then you overlay those, and then he just started burning the opponent and did 8,000 damage without them taking a turn.
It's probably crazier with Link summons.
It has to be, Kenny, because I know they like Dandelion, I believe, is still banned. Like, Dandelion is I'm pretty sure Dandelion is fucking banned. So I think Scapegoat is banned. Like, I think Scapegoat and Dandelion are banned. If I'm not mistaken, they are literally banned cards right now because they just do, like, summon Dandelion is an FTK in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! With no, like, just summon it, link it off, summon a guy, get 2 guys, link climb, and then it's just like, oh, okay. So Rescue Cat, like I said, 10 years ago, 2015, Silver was like, look at this. And just, the guy opened with just Cat. That's all he had. And I'll never forget that. I was like, holy shit, this thing got out of hand.
Yeah. So with that, in addition to that, another point is that like those cards were nerfed because shit like that is possible, which isn't possible in Edison. But now when you nerf that card, and then, because what Konami's now doing is even worse than what they were doing before. Before, one of the complaints was that they were doing Edison format, and they were following all of Edison format's rules, but they weren't following the time rules.
Yes. And
so the time rules were awkward because it was modern time rules instead of Edison
which we all bit the bullet for, but it was so bad. And it is still a bad thing because the time rules are bad even for the modern players. No one likes the time. Like, there's not a single person that I know who is happy about the time rules that plays this game competitively. So let's just start there. Like, the time rules are bad for everyone, but we all was like, you know what? You gotta take the good with the bad, right? So the bad was the time rules, but the good was that Konami's involved with retro now.
Yeah, the good was everything else. The good was everything else.
Everything else. We took it.
But now the good is not everything else. But so yeah, with that, now Edison is this weird hybrid format for Konami in that Rescue Cat, I'll use the Rescue Cat example. The nerfed version of Rescue Cat is now also at 1, right? So what I mean is that, like, when you have the updated card text, we have the erratas and the updated rulings for these cards. Those rulings and erratas do not fit the ban list because they're saying the ban list and the limited list is staying the same as it was back then, but the rules are going to be the new rules. But like Rescue Cat was limited to 1 because of what Rescue Cat said. What Rescue Cat says now is not good enough to be limited to 1.
Right.
So like it's not fair. Goyo Garden's limited to 1. What Goyo Guardian says now,
he could be a 3.
Probably not good enough.
He could be a 3.
To be limited to 1.
He could be a 3.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even know the difference.
So
you're
it's
applying modern logic of why cards are the way they are with their new text to a retro format. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. So I was trying to think about this from a Nintendo standpoint.
Modern Sangan might be limited to... Modern Sangan might not be limited to 1.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it is. Sangan's like whatever in Modern. It's like you can't use the card that you searched that turn.
But I'm saying Modern Sangan in Edison
is limited
might
to
not
1.
be good enough.
Right. Like it could be at 3 in Edison with this the errata version could be at 3, and it honestly would just probably be fine.
Yeah, because even Edison Sangan's not used.
We don't even play Sangan.
Yeah, like people don't even really play Sangan.
Would that play Sangan? I'm actually thinking about it right now. Yeah, what top 10 that play Sangan?
Yeah, Sangan was at 1 because at the time Sangan was thought of as a staple.
Yeah.
But like we've grown and evolved so much since then, and the ideas of staples have changed.
I was saying, imagine Nintendo stepped in and was like, yo, we're gonna start helping out and running events for Smash, like official Nintendo Smash events, right? Yeah, and this would be a net positive if they were like, you guys, it's going to be the same rules that you guys been doing. So 7 minutes, 4 stocks. I'm talking about Melee. 7 minutes, 4 stocks, whatever. Like, or I think Melee is like 8 minutes, 4 stocks. 8 minutes, 4 stocks. You know, all the rules that you got, no items, and the stages that you guys have been using for the last 2 decades. We'll agree that those are the stages. We're not going to try to make you use like fucking pokey floats. And they're like, we're going to support this. We're going to have official streams. And Nintendo's channel is bigger than any fucking channel there is. VGC, and like they're bigger than everybody, right? So this can only amplify Smash. This would be a great thing. And then 2 years later, they go, so now we're going to start doing 2 stocks and items. And pokey floats is legal. Counter picking is not a thing. So like your opponent just picks the stage after they lose. And they just change like 50 things. And the people who were so happy that Nintendo was involved, they're like, well, hold on now. We're just going back to the grassroots. Fuck you guys. That's basically what's happening. Like Melee is grassroots. Nintendo hasn't really been a big supporter of anything that the grassroots community for Smash has done. They've tried to step in at times, and it's always been a headbutt.
They've mostly hindered.
Yeah, it's been
mostly hindered.
There's been cease and desist. There have been tournaments that have had to change names. There have been tournaments that had to literally say, like, we can't stream. There have been entire organizations that have shut down because Nintendo has cease and desisted them, which is really unfortunate. And it's like, bro, we can all eat, we can all grow. Go ahead.
But I think this is actually what you just said, because I kind of forgot. What you just said, I think, is a perfect example, because I don't know if there's many companies more stubborn than Nintendo. I don't, like, Konami's
like, up there, bro.
They're up there.
They're a Japanese company, too.
Nintendo?
Japanese companies are just like this. There's something about them.
They're stubborn. But even Nintendo faltered. I remember Evo, I want to say it was 2014, when it was either 2014 or 2013. But once Melee got into Evo, and they were in Evo, and the day before the tournament, Nintendo sent a cease and desist and basically said, you're not allowed to stream this tournament. And then within 24 hours, they reversed their statement because of the sheer amount of backlash they got. Like a ginormous amount of backlash.
Like just a wave of getting dragged on Twitter.
Yeah, and then so they reversed that decision. My point is, if you guys are angry enough, you can. I'm not going to guarantee it because maybe Konami is that rude, but you can potentially reverse this decision.
Sizzle said that at the end of his video. I said to him yesterday on the live stream, I would love to be optimistic about that. I think the Master Duel point is why you're crazy. Not crazy, is why you're right. I think the Master Duel point trumps it really hard, and it's not something I was thinking of. I know.
I think Master Duel is like
no one is thinking of it.
Real. I think you're right. I just think you're 100% right.
I don't even want to be right. This is one of those times where like I know I have my ego about me. I know, like I'm not dumb. I'm very self-aware. I don't want to be right, but I genuinely think I am right. I think that there is so much money on the table if they can implement this digitally, and they're never going to code rulings that only apply to Edison. Yeah. You can tribute Consecrated Life for Caius right now in Edison, like in real Edison.
Yeah.
If you have a Consecrated, right, and I'm playing Value Turbo, I can go Brain Control, take your Consecrated, tribute it for Caius to get it off the field and to banish your card. That is a broken play, and people do it all the time in Edison format. They're not going to code that in. They're going to code that if you Brain Control a Consecrated Light, you can't tribute for a Dark Monster because Consecrated says you can't summon Dark Monsters, and that's just the newer ruling of that's the way it works now. That's what Rivaling goes into now. They're never going to say like all the weird. There's just like a little weird things too, right? So in Edison, we know that the chain links have to go a certain way every time. For example, when you summon Black Rose Dragon with Dandelion always has to be chain link 1, and Black Rose always has to be chain link 2. that like you can never order them in any other different way. Even though they're both mandatory effects, they always have to be in that order. Same thing if you tribute Caius for Absolute Zero in Edison format right now. Absolute Zero always has to be Chain Link 1 because it went to the graveyard first, and Caius always has to be Chain Link 2. In modern Yu-Gi-Oh, they have what, Seagox or whatever, simultaneous effects go on chain, SEGOC. So you can go Chain Link 1, I want it to be Caius. Chain Link 2, I want it to be Absolute Zero. You cannot pulling the rug this Caius now because he's Chain Link 1.
Yeah, so you get to choose, you get to actively choose which way you want it to go.
Yeah, it's a skillful way. And so this is a good change though, right? Choosing your chain links is such a skill expression thing because it's not the same every game.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's the thing. There's really cool changes. And which would make the Master Duel version really fun, or interesting to play. It just sucks because it's going to potentially ruin what a lot of people love about Edison format. But at the same time, I think that you still will have format library. You're still going to have dueling book, right? We still have our online version to play the Edison format that everybody loves. So if this ends up the biggest problem is it's going to create a schism in the community. It's going to create some people that will never go back to old Edison and some people that will never play new Edison. And then some people that will play both. But it could be something cool. Like I'm interested in seeing some of the cool ways new Edison can be played,
right? And
some of the new decks and some of the new interactions.
Real quick,
it's just kind of a shame the way it's being implemented.
Real quick, I just want to interject. On the topic of Black Rose and Dandelion, that's still the same because Dandelion is mandatory, Black Rose is optional. I just remember that. So Dandelion, even in new Edison, you can't structure Dandelion and Black Rose. However, Caius and Absolute Zero, they're both mandatory effects. So you can structure the chains for Caius and Absolute Zero. And I've tributed my Absolute Zero for a Caius or a Ryza a lot. I've tributed for Caius or Ryza a lot because one of the coolest things you could do is like tribute Absolute Zero, summon Caius, and if they have a Stardust, because Absolute Zero and current Edison is just like Chain Link 1 always, the Stardust can't negate it because Caius is Chain Link 2, and Stardust has to negate exactly the card that's before it. So it's a play that like somebody will summon Stardust against me and think that they're safe, and I'm like, Miracle Fusion, summon Absolute Zero, tribute for Caius. Caius, I don't even need to target your Stardust because your Stardust is getting wiped down by Absolute Zero and you can't do anything about it. So your Stardust can just stay. I'm going to target your back row. So now your front field gets wiped and your back row gets wiped all in one swing. It's like a really broken play, but you will be able to play around pulling the rug because I could get pulling the rug on that. You could play around pulling the rug. Like I said, you could make Caius Chain Link 1 and Zero Chain Link 2, which is so broken. And now the Caius is going through and your front field is getting wiped and you have a dead ass pulling the rug back there and I'm going to tag you for 24. Like there are skill expressions and cool things.
I might start logging into my Master Duel account every day just to get the currency so that I can have
just in case they actually
file of the currency.
Is that how that works?
And then if they do introduce Edison format, I'll have a huge stockpile of the currency and then I could just like get all the Edison cards.
Yeah. I fully intend that if they do ever put retro Yu-Gi-Oh, like good retro Yu-Gi-Oh formats that I want to play into Master Duel, because I was thinking about this, like I look at channels like Simo, right? Friend of the podcast. He's been on the show. He's the biggest content creator we've ever had on the show. And I talk to Simo pretty often. He does Master Duel. He has a Master Duel Masochist series, and that series goes up. So many people love that series. Hundreds of thousands of views on those videos. And it's just this man it's literally what we do with fucking dueling book, but it's
Master and Disaster will be the Master Duel and Disaster.
Yes.
Okay.
Like it's just an official platform, right? And Master Duel is huge. Like I said, there are hundreds of thousands of people that play Master Duel. Like dueling book, we could log in right now and see how many people are on dueling book. It's gonna be like 2,000 people. Right now on Master Duel, there's probably 200k people active right now on Master Duel.
Yeah. Now here's what would suck, but I guess you'd have to deal with it. It would suck though if they implemented Edison format or whatever they would call it, but it was like this because how Master Duel is now, it's a weird mix of OCG, TCG, and it's like I know obviously not Max C, but Max C is the biggest example. If a card like Max C that was legal in OCG,
that would be so annoying.
Illegal in TCG at the time.
I would not like that.
Like that would suck. Like if we ended up getting like a weird OCG mixed rule set for Edison, like that would suck.
Yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic and assuming that if they ever do retro on it again, because again they have a precedent of doing a retro Yu-Gi-Oh Fiesta blatantly. Like they limited the card pool to 2010 and they were like, these are the playable cards, but it was 2010 OCG. So it was like, oh, they had a couple more, they had like one more set or two more sets or something like that. So it just went a little further than we had, but it literally stopped at like the same, it was like April 2010, basically something like that. Like, I don't know all the logistics of it. You guys will correct me if you're listening to this or whatever, but the point is there was a precedent of them knowing how to say, we are limiting the card pool to this time period, and we're going to let you play just this weekend, this time period.
You know what also kind of like feels scummy about it? And this goes back to the original Time Wizard announcement. It feels a little scummy because it's like, you guys aren't doing the format library thing. You're not celebrating the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're just capitalizing on capitalism. The money to be made on the one format that people are currently playing. And like, you're pushing that to the max. And it kind of sucks because like, although that's really cool, like, because that format, blah, 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 although like, it's cool that all that's getting the support or whatever, but then also it's getting this anti-support, whatever. But it would be really cool if they created, and we've talked about it 100 times, just a retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Continuity where, you know, they release all of the tournaments for a year, Goat, Edison, Hat, Tengu, etc. And then like people got to play all of these different formats throughout the year and like appreciate the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! It just kind of sucks that they're taking like the one that everybody is most interested in, and they're like going to put it on Master Duel, and they're going to change the rules and do this and do that. And yeah, I don't know. It just feels like
peak capitalism. Yeah, and it's. I can't say that if I had a business, I wouldn't do something similar for the sake of like money, because that is what unfortunately in America, the point of a business is just that. Like it's really unfortunate. We, as the consumers and as the people who like share in these things and love these things and grew up on these things, we have a sentimental, emotional connection to them, right? Like I grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid. I watched on channel 17 every morning on Saturday before I went to locals to play more Yu-Gi-Oh! I watched the show. I watched the anime. I watched Joey versus Merrick. I watched him almost say attack and then pass out. I fucking was so sad. I've seen I'm Not Gonna Panic. Like everything. I've seen so much Yu-Gi-Oh! Fell in love with the game, fell in love with the anime, fell in love with everything Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like I have a sentimental connection to this game. But like the CEOs and the CFOs and those executives and those meetings who are just looking at the bottom lines, they're looking at the numbers and they're saying, we are losing players in the modern era. Like we are not gaining people. That is it blatantly says that in their financial statements last year. The biggest barrier of entry right now is that we do not know how to attract new players. It blatantly says that in their financials. So they're scrambling. Like Konami is looking for ways to fix things and to make money in other places.
What's weird is they could just watch YouTube videos and they'd be able to find out how to.
I know it's so crazy, right?
Like there's not just us. There's plenty of other excellent Yu-Gi-Oh!
We don't know fuck about shit
that suggest great ways they can get new players. Like I don't know. We've talked about it a lot, but like the game is just too complicated. Like,
it really is though.
It's not for 6-year-olds. Like it's just not.
I recorded a video with Stango literally on Modern that's coming out this Wednesday. So if you're hearing this, you probably already saw that video. So we're playing Dragon Rulers because Dragon Rulers got retrained. So there's like new Dragon Rulers or whatever. Not retrained, but they got a light and
new
dark
support.
Yeah, they got new support. So they got a light Dragon Ruler now and a dark Dragon Ruler, which I even said 12 years ago when they first came out. Oh God, when the light and dark versions come out, you just know they're going to be nonsense. Well, they're nonsense. They're fucking absolutely. The baby light one is called Flicker. It's like something Dragon Ruler or Flickers. When I tell you, his effect is so unhinged in 2013. His effect says you can discard this card in one other dragon or light monster to search your deck for 2 other dragons and add them to your hand.
Okay.
Why would it ever do that? Like, why would
And then as you know, the card you discarded, that's not really a discard because you just discarded a card that has a graveyard effect.
Yes. It is straight up nonsense. And I think it has another effect as well. And then of course it goes into an Xyz monster called like Chasma. Yeah, it's called Chasma. So it's the elder version of it. So instead of having like Blast or Redox be effect monsters, the adult version of this baby Flicker, the adult version of him is an Xyz. It just
Which is just better Yu-Gi-Oh! By the way, like because we took the big monster out of the deck and we put him in the extra deck like we did with everything else.
Right. So he's insane. His effect is, so first of all, to make him is just 2 level 7 monsters. Don't even have to be dragons. Don't even have to be dragon rulers. He's a generic Xyz. 2 level 7s.
That's crazy.
Yep. So
he should at least be 2 level 7 dragons.
I agree.
Like, what the fuck?
I agree. But they made him 2 level 7 generic. His effect is you can detach a material to send a dragon from your deck to the grave, and this effect becomes that effect as though it was discarded from the hand. So what that means is if you send title, you get to do title's effect where you foolish barrel any card. If you do blaster, you get to pop any card on the field. If you do redux, you get to reborn any monster in the graveyard. If you do tempest, you get to search any dragon. Why this is important? Well, Stango showed me a combo where turn 1, every single game, you just summon 2 level 7s, you overlay for that thing, you send Christia to the graveyard, and then you bring it back with Redox's effect, because you copy Redox. And you're just summoning Christia turn 1. Yeah.
Wait, why'd Christia get involved?
I know. Like, in 2025. In 2025.
Wait. Fucking wait.
I'm telling you.
I was not.
You were not ready,
when
right?
I tell you,
You were not ready
when
for
I
that.
tell you there was not a fucking fiber of my soul that was ready for you to involve Christia.
Yes.
Like,
in 2025.
not at all.
Yes.
Was I ready for that to get involved?
There are full-on combo videos on YouTube of people Christia locking opponents turn 1.
That's
in modern, in
crazy.
2025, they are sending Christia to the grave, and they're going, activate Chasma, copy Redox from deck, bring back anything.
That is insane.
Yeah, so that's
so crazy.
that is crazy though, right? Like, it's so wild that of all the things that could happen, Christia is being summoned in 2025 Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's just like, I know we're so far from the shallow right now, but capitalism is honestly
Did you
just...
hear that song recently? That's a second reference.
Oh, so the reason why I've been using that a lot is because with the last major tournament that I streamed, which was I think it was the EWCQ 10, we had a bingo card. And on the bingo card, on day 2, because day 1, people were saying things that were just, they would come in the stream and they'd be like, they would just say something that was so wrong. Like, so,
yeah.
yeah. They would say something that was so overtly...
Sounds like chat.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They would say something that was so overtly wrong. And I would say, this person is so far from the shallow. Like, I was like, dog, you need to rewind. I would tell them, I'd be like, yo, you're just like, they would say like, oh, he just cheated. He just did this. And I'm like, no, he didn't. You just didn't see. You just came in here. You literally just came in here and you saw something happen and you're like, you don't understand it. So your brain said he cheated. He did not cheat. Rewind it. We're on YouTube. We're streaming on YouTube. You can rewind YouTube streams. You're far as fuck from the shallow. So that's why I've been saying that. Because whenever somebody just far off topic, like, bro, you are so far from the shallow at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the format can be interesting. It just sucks though, kind of the way it's being implemented. I mean, obviously we think it's interesting. That's why we hosted a tournament of it.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting,
but the way it's being implemented, frustrating. Even some of the arguments I had for it, I already created counter arguments for it. Like the main one being, these cards are actually, these are the way they're supposed to be read. These are the way these cards were supposed to be ruled, but like they were just ruled badly back in the day.
Yeah.
But even that's just like doesn't really like pan out when you really break it all down. And then I think the biggest thing is just that I wasn't thinking of is that Master Duel thing. And I think that just makes it so obvious to me that it's just like, that's what the incentive is.
Yeah, money.
And yeah.
Also, another thing that has to do with money, and it already happened, and this is how you can tell it's about money. So I don't know if you noticed, Kenny, but they've been releasing sets for the last like 2 years that have been...
Yep.
They've been reprinting Edison cards for the last 2 years and all these bonanzas and stuff, and everybody's been so happy, like, oh man, Absolute Zero got reprinted. Oh man, Magical Android got reprinted. Oh man, Armor Master and all these cards, right? Amaryllis just got reprinted. Amaryllis just got reprinted in like April, right?
Yeah. Isn't there a new Card Trooper reprint?
Yep. People have been so excited, right? After they're done that, because that's done now. After they're done selling all of these fucking reprints, they are now saying, hey, by the way, we're changing the rules on your game. Like the format that you've been playing, the way you've been playing it, after we sold you the reprints, now, guess what? You need to use them the way they are actually printed.
Yeah.
After they didn't say this before, like Kenny, if they said this before they started reprinting all the things, I would be like, okay, well, at least we know transparently, like, that's why they're reprinting it. Now it's like, oh, you waited until you sold all of your inventory of the Bonanza. I've been fucking unboxing this shit on the channel, fucking 25th Century Bonanza. I packed the Absolute Zero, I packed the Malicious, packing all these things. And the whole time the intent is like, oh, actually, this is just, we're going to sell this to you.
That's what's kind of dirty about it too, is like, there's just no transparency and it goes completely against what they said they were doing. And it is fucked up. I mean, I do think people should complain.
Yeah, there are legitimate complaints,
but like, unfortunately, I do think Frazier's right.
Yeah, I hate, and this is one of the rare times where I wish I wasn't. I want things to just be the way they were, and I wouldn't mind subtle changes here and there. Like if Konami subtly were like, we're going to just fix some of the cards because we just think that they're like we decided, because Konami's always been the one who decided, and they've always dictated to us what they think is not fair, and we've just gone with it, which is what the ban list is, with the emergency ban list, which is what. So if they were like, yo, we do think brain control and Bionic are kind of problematic, you got to play with the real ones now, like the 2025 Bionic, 2025 brain control. I would be like, okay, that's a little annoying, but like, sure, let's see how that works, and let's implement this shit slowly. But all at once, everything, everywhere, all at once is just like a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, I have an argument, and this is what Konami should do. I think everybody don't get discouraged by Frazier being right, because I think he's right. But don't get discouraged by Frazier being right, because I think there's still a way we can have change, and I'll tell you how. Still complain, still not support the in real life Ultimate Time if it's not what you want to support. If you love it, support it. Yeah, I don't want you, like, I'm not telling you not to support something you do love. If you love it, go to the tournaments, fine. But if you are someone who's against this change, vote with your wallet and don't support it. And also give feedback to Konami and tell them why. Here's the thing that just popped in my head. They could add an Edison ladder tool to Master Duel, and it doesn't need to match in real life Edison, because like we said, it already doesn't match in real life Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right.
The Master Duel current format doesn't match in real life Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway.
It doesn't.
So in real life Edison format can still be in real life Edison format, and Master Duel can be its own Edison format if they want to add it. And then people like Frazier and other people and myself and a bunch of other people can enjoy the Edison version of Master Duel just like they enjoy the Master Duel version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway. And it doesn't need to be the same as Modern, and it doesn't need to be the same as in real life because it's not anyway.
Right.
So anyway, that's something that I just thought of. So I think that's a possibility. It doesn't match Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway.
Yep.
So let in real life Edison be different from Master Duel Edison.
The biggest moneymaker for Konami in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Master Duel, and it already doesn't follow any format that is real.
Yeah.
That should, and it is the biggest money making. I mean, you can just imagine, right? I don't even have to like show you the financials. You can just imagine.
I know. Listen, I know gacha games go hard.
Oh.
And the fact that they're not real cards,
not
like I don't got to
anything.
print cardboard.
Kenny, they're not doing anything.
Crazy.
You're buying.
They got to pay for server load, but other than that,
Kenny, you know how much it is for fucking AWS? Because they're like at this point, Amazon Web Services is like the biggest fucking. Like my company's on AWS, but AWS is expensive, but it's not the hundreds of millions.
Listen, gacha games go fucking hard. Okay?
Yeah, people are swiping their credit cards right now as we're recording this, and they are just Konami's raking it in on Master Duel, bro. And whatever the other Duel Links is, the first one that ever happened, it was like that. So when Duel Links came out and they made like 200 million, they probably were like, "Oh, that was so easy." Like we made 200 million off of a digital asset, like Hearthstone. Eating. Magic Arena, Magic Online, eating. I don't know what took Konami so long to jump into that arena. Like, I have no idea why it took so long.
It's just stubbornness, right? Because Magic the Gathering is, it's a US-based company.
Yeah, Wizards of the Coast is 100% not Japanese.
And Japan just notoriously, they have their own way of doing things. And in some regards, this is really, really good for them. I think they make incredible games because they do things the Japanese way.
Yep.
I think RPGs is one of the best examples. I think JRPGs or whatever, there's a reason why that's like its own genre.
Yeah.
I think Japan does such an amazing job with RPGs. There's a lot of really good American RPGs, or not even just American, but Western RPGs, RPGs that aren't
outside of Asia.
But the way they make JRPGs are like so fucking.
They set the standard. What you're saying is they set the standard, and it's true.
A game like Monster Hunter, with how fucking with how much bullshit is in Monster Hunter, the amount of menus and item descriptions, it can be really clunky, but it's the kind of game that really only exists in Japan. Like games made in the West are a lot more streamlined, and even though they're streamlined in Monster Hunter, but my point is like they wouldn't dare. When you look at a Monster Hunter screen, there's like 30 sub screens. They wouldn't dare do that in the US.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is there's a lot of good that comes from the Japanese way of doing things, but there is also bad. And that comes with, especially when it came to like a lot of online integration and when they online support for a lot of games as we moved into that era. And I think that's another thing. That's something what we're seeing here is that like what you were saying, how I can't believe it took Konami so long to adapt that model. It's just one of those things where like Japan as a whole took a long time to embrace that. Now they have, but it took them a long time to do that.
Yeah. Like, it didn't happen until the pandemic. I think Master Duel came out during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And that's because, I don't know if that is the reason, but the fact that it took people not being able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! In person anymore for years, for them to be like, okay, maybe we need to have a platform online now because that started the remote duel thing and all that other nonsense. But yeah, it just took them a very long time, and it to me, it was always such an obvious, like, if you want to play the capitalist game, if money is the goal, it was always there. But yeah, now go ahead.
One thing I wonder is a reason why Master Duel makes so much money is because it's so this could be a good thing, right? Blessing in disguise, devil's advocate. One of the reasons why Master Duel makes so much money is because obviously they release packs, right? Like Pokemon TCG Pocket can't keep making money if they don't keep coming out with new cards.
Yeah, 100%.
Master Duel keeps coming out with new cards, so that's one of the reasons why it keeps making more money, because at some point you would just like not need to get a new card. With something like Edison format, they would release, a couple packs, but then you would have all of the cards and there wouldn't be any reason to spend money anymore if you're an Edison format player. So then you would just be like a burden on the server load because you're not spending any more money because you have all the cards and it's not being updated. So something this might lead to is maybe the Time Wizard vision gets implemented through Master Duel, where they release more and more like historical formats to get people to keep.
I don't think it would just be Edison, not because again, I don't think Time Wizard was supposed to be just Edison. That just happened to be what it became.
It wasn't.
To that point, though, in terms of monetizing a format that is locked, so sure that offers an obstacle, but I've already seen how they do stuff like this. They just offer shiny versions that distinguish you from your opponent. I swear to God, Kenny, I've seen Shu Ping playing on his Master Duel account. I think it was Shu Ping.
I hate it so much.
And my man had like 3 shiny Maxis, and I was like, how come when you use Maxi it looks like that? And he was like, oh, because I like paid extra to get the good ones. Like these are the crazy Maxi. So like when you see your opponent use their Maxi, it doesn't look like the same. Like his opponent's Maxis were common, and he had these fucking crazy gleaming fucking Maxis that cause an animation when you discard it to the graveyard. And then like he summoned Dark Arm, and his Dark Arm is like special. It does a whole stomp thing, and the ground explodes and it bursts out the ground. I'm like, that only happens for that Dark Armed. How you have that Mewtwo? Remember that Mewtwo that you showed me?
Yeah.
That was in the incubator? Well,
they come out crazy.
The JD, the real JD, the one that you have to pay money for and you can't get it any other way. You cannot dust for it. You cannot trade in cards for it. You can only get it by paying actual money. That JD, if you want the one that the beam of light comes down and the fucking whole civilization gets destroyed and then it roars its head and it's like red claws come out. That JD, in order to get that JD, you have to pay $5.
Hell yeah.
And so what that does is, sure, you have all the cards, but do you have these cards? They start releasing alt arts and stuff like that.
I was just about to say alt arts.
Yep. Playmats.
Cool, but
playmats is another thing. So my play area looks different than you. Like monetization on a digital asset is such a joke because there's so many things that people are willing to pay for that me and you specifically, we would never. But like there is a audience that is willing to open up their wallet and absolutely cash out on cosmetics. Just straight up nothing. Same card. The JD does the exact same thing. It gets bottomless all the same. It comes out and gets no priority.
Yeah, but if I pay for my hot bottomless, I get to see how sick would that be if you have like the expensive bottomless trap hole? So they summon their expensive JD, you flip bottomless, and then you see bottomless open up under him, and then instead of the goblin, you see fucking JD fall into it.
Yeah, that would be cool. Or like just on the zone, like the monster field zone, you see literally a circle open up on the monster zone, and like the JD card like sinks into it, and then it just disappears.
That'd be awesome.
Even something as simple as that, because that's just like, oh shit, he has the expensive bottomless.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, that said, I think Frazier's right, but I think there's hope because when I remembered that Master Duel doesn't follow Yu-Gi-Oh anyway.
Yep.
There's no reason why real life Edison has to follow Master Duel.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I know Konami's on this thing where they want to be consistent across the board, and you start off bringing up the judge thing, which most people have brought up that point, and I think that is a valid point. I absolutely think it's valid. Judges having to know, because let's say it is not just Edison, it's Hat, it's Goat, it's Tengu.
Yeah.
The rules are different in all of them. So like it is a burden.
Like Necro Valley is a menace.
Oh my.
And every one of those formats, it's a different card.
I'm sleep. I don't even want to talk about Necro Valley, bro. It is the most erotic card in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, and I think stuff like that would be annoying if they ever did want to switch from Edison. It is a blessing in a way that Edison has been the only ultimate time wizard for the most part, because like then judges don't have to know Tengu and Goat and Hat and Toss and all the other bullshit.
I think Necro Valley is a good example of the point I was making earlier, where it's like there's an argument to be made that the way cards were ruled during Edison format was just incorrect anyway. And like that's why cards like Necro Valley were ruled differently throughout the ages, is because like the intention of the card was different and people were still trying to, you know what I mean? And so like what they finally settled on is like what the card does. So there's an argument made like throughout the ages and throughout all of these different formats, some of these cards were just ruled incorrectly. Like, and even notoriously, there's been, I've heard stories from Frazier about how like this weekend, this YCS, this chain disappearance is ruled differently.
Oh, yep.
And it's just like stuff like that happens throughout the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then so if that tournament, whatever format that was, where chain disappearance was ruled differently, if that format suddenly became really fucking popular, right, then it's like that's the one format where chain disappearance is fucking ruled differently than the way it is everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So there's an argument to be made that like the rulings that we follow for some of these retro formats are like incorrect, and that like they were just ruled incorrectly or whatever. But it still doesn't capture the essence of how the format was played at that time. But I understand from the perspective of Konami, like you said, if they maybe one of the reasons why they just kind of stuck with Edison and every now and then did Tengu and Goat for like 3v3 is because of that detriment. Oh, our judge is going to need to know 17 different fucking formats.
You know what would be nice though?
That's just not possible.
We're talking about $1 billion company, right? And even the Yu-Gi-Oh division is hundreds of millions of dollars. It would be nice if they just had a committee codify rulings. Like, so the fact that the grassroots Edison community, EdisonFormat.com existed before Format Library, that Format Library existed, all of these, and EdisonFormat.net is a third website that has the same thing. They all have the rulings for Edison.
Yeah.
Every time we get in a video and we need to get a ruling, we just pull it up immediately in a bookmark. We look up the ruling, and there's bullet points, there's text, there's fucking highlighted things, there's all types of references, there's all this stuff for every single relevant Edison card that you could think of. Konami could absolutely have the exact same foundation where, okay, we are going to change how things work when they're bad because this was just a bad ruling. Like you said, chain disappearance, there's a YCS. For people who don't know what Kenny was referencing, back in the day, I went to a YCS in 2015 or 16 or one of those years where Dante was legal, like Burning Abyss. Chain disappearance was ruled that it goes in the extra deck. So you know how chain disappearance says if your opponent summons a monster with 1,000 or less attack, banish it, then banish all copies in their hand or deck. Well, for that YCS, the deck aspect was determined to be the entire deck, meaning that it banished it out of your extra deck as well. So if I went chain disappearance on your Dante, it would go in your extra deck and banish the other two Dantes out of your extra deck. That's just how it was ruled that tournament. So to your point, Edison is based off of one tournament. This is a perfect example. This is actually a great analogy here. Edison is based off of one tournament. It's one tournament. And at that tournament, there were rules that were wrong, like quick draw in Edison format, the way we play it. Quick draw is like ruled wrong where you don't discard for cost. I think it's an effect that you can keep activating. So like if someone has a Light and Darkness Dragon on the field, I'm pretty sure you can go activate. You don't have to like keep pitching a different monster every time you do it. You just keep activating it over and over and over and over again. And then LAD just goes all the way down to 0. I think that's how it works. Well, not 0, but 800. I think that's how it works. That's apparently not correct. It's supposed to be like you activate it and you pitch or whatever. And then that's how it really is supposed to work. But a judge just got it wrong. And we've been playing with that because that's what Edison is based on, is based on one tournament. So that chain disappearance ruling would apply if we played whatever tournament, I don't remember what it was, but whatever YCS that was where that worked like that. Imagine.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, not exactly the same, but it's kind of similar. That's why I brought up the chain disappearance things, because it's really relevant to the fact that Edison's a single tournament. But it's like kind of similar, although not exactly the same, to like Dark End Dragon, where it's like we all play with Dark End Dragons now because we can all get Dark End Dragons, right? But at the time, for the actual tournament, Dark End Dragon, nobody had it. And kind of the same thing, like Quick Draw, if Quick Draw is incorrect the way you're saying it is, it's like it's only incorrect at that one tournament. Literally the next day, it's not incorrect anymore. Yeah. It's not exactly the same as the Dark End example, but it's obviously much more akin to the chain disappearance example. Yeah. But I do think there's an argument for it. But yeah,
I do think in terms of rulings, because I do have empathy for the judges, and I wouldn't want them to have to learn all of these like very narrow, specific nuances type cards. If they just codified the rulings, like this is how these cards work. Everyone kind of knows how all the other things work, but there are certain things that people argue about, like the consecrated thing, right? Consecrated Light could be one of them. Rivalry and Goes and Match could be one of them. They could just go through and be like, this is how these things work. They're going to work like this. And that, like, we got, like, the ruling was just wrong. It was just bad. It was a person. Like, a head judge decided that day, this is what I interpret it as, and this is what we're doing, and they just went with it, because that's how every Yu-Gi-Oh tournament works. But it was just wrong, and we're just correcting that. Even if the tournament was played under this wrong ruling, why should we continue to be wrong when we know it's wrong now. Like, we know it's wrong.
Yeah.
Rescue Cat wasn't wrong the way it was printed in Edison, and then they fixed it with the errata. That, like, they never fixed Edison Rescue Cat because of Edison. They fixed it because of Modern.
Yeah.
To be clear.
Which I hate. Just print a different card. I've been against erratas. Look, erratas that clear up wording. Like, I know Wabaku, I think, has been errated a couple times, but never changed
Soul
what
Eater's the
Wabaku
biggest
did.
one.
Yeah.
Because, like, Bazoo, I agree with. They always intended it to be a Soul Eater, so monsters.
Yeah.
But we were using it to banish spells and traps, which was broken. And, like, sure, fix that. It gets a nerf, but, like, it's the way it was. He was always eating a soul of a monster, right?
Yeah, and it clarifies how the card works. I'm fine with those erratas. Erratas that Chaos Emperor Dragon that make it a different card.
Yeah, literally.
I've always been against those erratas because, like, just make a different.
Yeah.
Just leave the card banned if you don't want that card to exist. Just fucking leave it banned.
Bro, they ruined
and
Crush
just
Card.
print a different card.
Crush
Like,
Card is, like, so unplayable. They ruined Crush Card. They ruined Chaos Emperor Dragon. They ruined Ring of Destruction. Ring of Destruction says something like it can't reduce your opponent's life points to 0.
Yeah, I also think. Maybe that's just brain control. I think it also can only be done on a normal summon monster, though.
I think so. It's like, yeah, Ring of Destruction, they ruined it. Like, they ruined that card, bro. And to your point, I do wish they just retrained the cards. They even retrained, like, Monster Reborn, but they didn't errata Monster Reborn. They just made a new Monster Reborn, and it's called Spell Card Monster Reborn is the name of the card.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, we went to that sneak preview. But, like,
yeah, we did.
That's a way to do it. They could call it Chaos Monster Envoy of the End. And, like, it just has that new bullshit effect where he can't pay 1,000 unless you didn't use any of the cards, and you can't do anything else that turn. It only counts your opponent's cards, not your cards too. It is like completely different card.
Yep. Yeah. Just if you want it, yeah, it's just dumb. So those kind of erratas, they suck, and that's what's unfortunate. There was another point I was going to make, but I forget what it was. But
well, I want to hear what you guys think listening to this. Definitely leave comments. There's a bunch of different things to talk about with this, so this is going to be a topic for a while, I feel like. And I am curious to hear how people feel about it. I mean, when I went live, the chat was going crazy, so it was hard to, like, keep up with 416 people talking at once.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, the shit was scrolling so fast. I was like, this is actually, I don't know how, like, professional streamers, the ones who have, like, you know.
Well, they don't is the answer. They, like, just to clarify, just real quick, I want to clarify.
Oh,
they
okay.
don't.
I didn't know.
Professional streamers, like huge streamers with huge chats, two things happen. One, every now and then they'll just so happen to see a comment in chat that catches their eye, and they'll say that, but they'll ignore the other 1,000 comments. The other thing is they only read comments that are paid for.
Yeah,
like you donate $5 and there's a comment.
That makes sense.
They only read those comments.
Yeah, because I noticed when I'm watching Larry Lair, his channel has like 117,000 subs. And when he goes live, like, you know, there's thousands of people, so the chat is just going. And he will pick out certain ones that he responds to, kind of like what you said, where it catches his eye. But for the most part, it's just the people who actually, I think, are paying for their comment to be read.
Yeah.
And then he kind of will say, like, he'll talk about those ones. But yeah, all of the chat that's just going up and up and up and up. It's just like, there's no fucking
they're
way.
talking to each other. They're not talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, they might think they're talking to you, but they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
When there's that many people in chat, it's not possible.
100%. So I want to hear you guys' like opinions on this. I've been seeing a lot of comments on our channel already from the live stream. Like, people are leaving comments right now, even as we record this, just saying how they feel. There was even a person who was like, fuck frogs or something like that, just like stuff like that. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. There's people that hate. It sucks too, because like I'm kind of excited at, you know, it's just fucked up. But the Master Duel version of it actually kind of got me low-key excited. I
low-key would play that. I'm so for the sake of content, I would love it.
I'm kind of low-key excited for that, except for fucking Rivalry and Gozen. That is still, like, that is kind of toxic. I don't want to deal with those cards.
But I would absolutely have a whole series on Master Duel on the channel. Me and you will be playing, and it'll be a fun thing.
Oh, yeah.
And we wouldn't have to argue with people about rulings ever again. And if they go
there's no chat. It's beautiful.
And if they go AFK, guess what? You just lose the duel now, right?
You just lose.
Like, there's no... there's benefits to Master Duel being like an actual platform. Like, there are...
Master Disaster Duel, I'm down.
Yeah. So maybe in the future that'll happen. It might not be a one-to-one of actual Edison, but like, I'll take it for the sake of it being something different. Like, there will be an audience for just that.
Yeah. Also, importantly, it wouldn't kill. It's not going to kill the normal Edison content that we already do.
Yeah. Like, Project M didn't kill Brawl.
No.
Like, Brawl killed Brawl.
Brawl killed Brawl. Well, Smash 4 killed Brawl.
Yeah.
Brawl was already on the way out.
Yeah.
But Brawl, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, Brawl, and then Smash 4, and then Smash Ultimate, whatever comes after Smash Ultimate.
But Grassroots didn't kill it.
Yeah, no.
So
and Project M didn't kill Melee, but then again, nothing killed Melee.
Yeah.
And I don't think I don't think this is going to kill regular Edison format.
Yeah, same. I think that
despite what
Edison is the
haters want.
melee of. I think Edison is the melee of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I do. I think it's that exact.
I agree.
It's that format that is 15 years old. It is super loved. It got resurrected. Like it did all the things. Like it's doing all. It's following the same timeline. It has so many people showing up for it. So many people watch like videos getting thousands of impressions, and it's doing all the things.
It got supported by its original creator, and then got hated on.
Yep.
Nintendo supported Melee at one, and then they hated it
because they were like, "Well, we don't sell copies of Melee anymore." That's what happened.
Yeah, well, they could.
Yeah, they were like,
the only reason why they don't is because of them.
They literally said, well, we don't sell that anymore, so we don't make money off of you guys still talking about the old game. We need to make money off of the new game, and therefore we want you to only play the new game, so we're going to try to kill the old thing. And at one time, I think...
print Melee and give it online play.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Official Melee online play, with rollback and everything would have been insane. Like, official. Right. Like, a ranking system, tournaments, just amazing, right? Like, it would have been...
Yep.
I did the world that could exist is so sad when I think about it.
It's crazy the world that could exist, Frazier. The world that could exist is it's
so
insane.
Sad because I'll never understand, even from a business standpoint, how you don't see that collaboration is better than antagonizing someone.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. It's so weird because the other thing that's weird about it is that the world that could exist isn't that hard to exist. Right. Like, it's not like we're asking for something that's crazy. It's just like, this could exist with
like
one
they could monetize it. You could make people pay for Melee, a subscription service type thing where to play a Melee ladder, you pay like $10 a month or something. Some amount. I don't know. I'm not, but just some amount. There would be a lot of people who pay.
Yo, if the online was good.
Yeah, I'm talking about I'm talking about real servers, rollback netcode, the full.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about bullshit. I'm talking about a real ranking system.
Yep.
With real prizes, with real everything, and you have to pay for it. So they monetize the old game that they're not selling anymore.
They would make so much money. Also, the boom, the boom, because the community's already huge.
Yeah,
but the boom it would get. Because it would get a huge influx of people playing it. There would be the big streamers playing it that don't play Smash, but they would just play it just to be on the wave like they do for like a month, and then that would bring new people in. It'd be crazy. What?
No, because it's true, but it's just funny. Because like, Smash Ultimate, like I remember Mango and fucking Hungry Box and Armada streaming like Ultimate for a month, literally a month, and then they went right back to Melee. That shit is so funny because they really do, because their impressions, right? They had so many views. They're doing at those times when a new Smash game comes out, when Mango and Hungry Box stream, they're seeing literally 50,000 people watching at one time. Like OD numbers that they don't do on a regular Tuesday night, just doing regular Melee content, right? So they're going to ride the wave for that 1 month. They're going to get that check for that 1 month, and then they go right back to Melee. Like Hungry Box is like, oh yeah, we're doing like the coin box and we're doing Ultimate, and then immediately like, all right, well, back to Melee. Like,
all right, Nickelodeon All Stars.
Literally that. Those fake games, like all the fake ones. All-Stars Brawl and all that bullshit. Yep. For 1 month, multiverses. Oh, this game is so cool. Oh man, LeBron just beat Arya.
I'm gonna spit my water out just because multiverses. Multiverses is such a joke.
Yo, you literally you almost lost that water all over your fucking keyboard.
Oh my god, that game is such a joke.
Yeah, but that 1 month, there was a month where LeBron was just dunking on Arya.
He was doing it. Cristiano Ronaldo is in Fatal Fury. It's so random.
That is the world that we live in. Random. The soccer player?
Yeah. He's in Fatal Fury. Just random.
Which one though?
The newest one.
Yeah, that's a rant.
Yeah, the newest one. It's funny. Anyway,
I'm ready to wrap up.
Yeah, I'm ready to wrap up too. I think that ultimately the community is in the right to be upset.
Yep.
I think that if you're upset, we've already said it, but with your wallet, but also send feedback. I also think there's still hope, because I think the Master Duel version of this format could be really fun. I just see no reason why real life has to match Master Duel, since it already doesn't.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to read out the Patreon members who are on our party member higher tier. Thank you guys so much for your support over the years. We have Volvies VR Jim Bread Butt Gains. That is a fucking mouthful.
What the fuck just happened?
Nova Leo, Stand ready for my arrival worm. Xavier Swift, the Saint Goddess is Stanley Earl, the Sultan of Slot, the Sung Jin Woo of Yu-Gi-Oh, Aaron Reynolds.
Who is that? Who's the Sung Jin Woo of Yu-Gi-Oh?
That's Dominique Roberts. That's our mod.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
he talking that shit right now.
He is. Have you started season 2 yet?
No, but I will be done it before our scheduled time to podcast.
Yes. So Kenny will be starting season 2, and when he says the Sung Jin of Yu-Gi-Oh, when you see season 2, that shit's gonna mean more, obviously, right?
I mean, I already know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
based on season 1, that's ridiculous.
Because at the end it was like a rise, right? Like that was the last thing. Is like he became the Shadow Monarch. Yeah, season 2 is just like, oh okay, oh, is this who we are? Andre Reynolds, Vincenzo, Dallas Bailey, KJ, How Much Meter You Got, Sarah Maria, Alex Ahern, FC Camp, A Traveler of the Burning Abyss, Gores in My Prison Pocket, Sugal, Vicky Venomon, Elijah Barfall, Tyler Chideo, Volvi the Mega Monarch. 6-7 is the 9/11 of Time Wizard. Fuck Konami.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Right. January 2 and 5, Thomas Rue, Joshua Carrot, Eric Chai, Brian Moore, This Ain't God, This is City Councilman, Eric Mays, Mike and John, and then we have
Tim Bailey's Glaze Smooth Butt, Majin Labubu.
Oh wow, I love that. I love that.
Majin Labubu.
Love that.
That's awesome. B Dog 23, Hershey Bar, Impoister, Tyler Frasher, Sasha Egger, Daniel Anderson, Deroa, Chicken Twister Strudel, Jordan Eastman, Clanger, Harsh Kumar, HT19, Gregory Calmaring, Volcanic Garden Stole My Lunch Money, Mike and John, Anthony Japov, Michael Zhang, Tyler, Chris Louie, Bob Cuddy, Time Wizard 942, Luis Juarez, The Hopeless One, and Nicholas Cook.
Again, thank you guys so much for your support. As always, you can expect a Patreon exclusive episode. Check those out. If you haven't already started, there's a library of episodes that are only on Patreon that are available to party member or higher tier members. And you guys get the podcast earlier than everyone else. So the podcast always goes out some amount of time earlier than it does on Thursdays when the regular people get it. Sometimes there's even multiple episodes that we put out ahead of time. Yeah. So, since I've gone to Japan, we've been trying to catch back up on that schedule where we have like an abundance of episodes. And we're going to keep building up the library. Keep rocking with us. Yeah. We appreciate you. And I think that's everything. Let us know how you feel about this, though. This is definitely one of the bigger topics of the year. I think this is already drama of the year. I don't think that anything will top this in terms of like Edison Awards or whatever for drama of the year. This is definitely the drama of the year. So with that being said, as I say, do the things that make you happy, including enjoying Edison format the way you like to enjoy it. And you don't have to be controlled by a capitalist company. We'll catch you in the next one.
Hell no.
Peace.